here or there. But I think if, you could maybe set a flat rate for every school, but at that point, that just be a level playing field just like it is now, and you just have bigger colleges throwing more money under the table. So I really don't think there is any fair way to do it. And like Jace said, it definitely keeps them working harder because most of the reason they want to play at the next level, yeah, they love the game, but also, make some money, create a livelihood. And if they can get that in college, or, obviously they wouldn't be paid on the same scale, but if they can start making some money off football in college, they're definitely not going to be as driven to perform and work hard in college. So yeah, I just don't think there's a fair way to do it, and they just got to deal with it.
All right.
I agree with both of them. I just don't see a fair way of doing it. Because you think of an Alabama or an Oregon, the money that they bring in through the athletic department, through the football team is way more than even a West Virginia or some of the Big 12 schools. So I couldn't see a fair way of doing it. The only thing that would frustrate me being I'm not even close to like a really good D1 athlete is you're putting all that time and effort, and Matt said something about the jersey sales. I just don't know where that money would go. The NCAA makes a lot of money off of people that I wouldn't say they're using them, but the athletes that they're represented by, they're making a lot of money. And I don't know how that's fair to the athletes who are busting their butts every day. And a scholarship to a university is a lot of money, and it's a great thing and all, but I just feel if it's should be a little more than that, and I just can't find a fair way of doing that.
Well, let's see if you guys can follow me on this. In the NFL, every player gets a check for an allotted amount of money, and that money is it's a flat rate, and that money is from Madden sales. Okay, how many of you guys own probably multiple copies of NCAA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think, and this is a proposal, would you think it would be a good idea if they gave an allotted amount to every player, obviously taking from those jersey sales and whatnot, and starting a 401k or a retirement plan for individual players, meaning with at the end of their 4 years, they would be able to, disperse or start a business or whatever they wanted to. And the reason I say this is because, yes, we're not going to school to play football, but when you come to school to play, you are also investing a lot of time and money. You are not allowed to get a job. NCAA rules. So, and your time is taken up. I mean, you're spending more than the average student is. So, I mean, you have a full-time job on top of school. So, this is just would you seem it fair if it was on a system like that?
Well, I mean, I think that's maybe slightly better than what they have now, but back to what I was saying before, I just think if you make a flat rate, as long as the playing field's leveled across the board, I still think you're going to see bigger programs with an unfair advantage because, they got more money to throw around. But, I mean, I do think that is a better plan than what they have now with, no compensation whatsoever. But, at the same time, I still think it'd give bigger programs an edge. But really, they're always going to have an edge. They're the bigger program. So, I mean, I don't think that'd be a bad idea to do something like that, set up 401k.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know.
Yeah.
We're just
I know.
shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
shooting the breeze. If you think as far as what you guys are getting into, with the bigger programs, it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. If you think of the NFL, that's probably the most merchandise. They probably sell the most merchandise out of any team. America's team. I mean, going in that aspect. So yeah, there is a lot of roads, or it's going to be some time before they even come to a conclusion with all of that. Just like to thank everyone for coming out. We got a question here, Matt.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask you, and I meant to last week, but I'm glad I waited while these young you know about the hard hits in the NFL, and my question is to you how you feel about it, and to you guys, how do you feel about it? And is it being addressed well at your school and while you were playing? Were you guys did you felt you were taken care of?
Matt, that's a great question. And the question here is just to let everyone know concussions, how do you feel about them and properly treated enough at the high school level, pro level? Matt, I'll say one thing. They don't make them like they used to. You know, a lot of emphasis on concussions nowadays. I think the game is a little more intense. I'm not saying it wasn't back then, but back then, with the type of equipment that was being used, ways of tackling were different. They taught you different techniques. The shoulders, you know. Yep.
Hit with the shoulder.
So you know you're gonna get a lot of more of the shoulder clavicle injuries as far as the head injuries. You know, now that the helmet technology is, I mean, it's like putting a pillow on your head. I mean, if you remember back when they had just the little scullies in there, I mean, you'd rip your ears off trying to get your helmet on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you guys remember
Pee-wee,
the helmets
back
from
in Pee-wee.
Pee-wee.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, now you can slide them on. They're real nice.
Yeah, we can't
Cadillacs,
complain.
Pump them up and everything. You
Yeah.
know, and they all look sophisticated now. They all look like Bentleys and stuff. But yeah, all the helmets look like futuristic cars and stuff now. But you know, concussions has been a huge issue, and I don't really know how to say anything because you know, have I had a concussion recorded? No, because I was too afraid of losing my job. And I know that seems crazy to some people, but nobody understands what that industry is like. It's cutthroat. And it's a what are you doing for me right now? And what are you going to be doing for me in 5 minutes type of business. So, you know, I kept to myself and, you know, towards the end of my career, you know, there was games where I'd get hit and be just so out of it for, you know, a quarter or two and then finally come to and be like, man, this is the third quarter of the game. I don't even know what the heck's going on for like a whole half of football. You know what I mean? And like I made it that way throughout my entire career almost doing that. And then finally when, you know, the vision started going cross-eyed for quarters, I was like, I'm kind of over this. You know, so that's when I kind of just stepped away, you know, because I just knew my body, you know what I mean? And I knew it wasn't reacting well to the hits and just kind of got out of there. But for, you know, some of my brothers that have, you know, it's a shame what's happening with the concussion injuries because it's, you know, if football really is the cause of, you know, these incidents happening, I don't know how it's really going to be resolved or changed. I mean, I guess you could just say you can't hit with the helmet, period, you know. But that's also something that the NFL is going to have to oversee because that's going to change the game up tremendously. You know what I mean?
They're already changed it.
Yeah, and there are
The new rules have already changed the game.
exactly, and you know, you can see the progression of football. Do I like where it's going? Not necessarily, because I mean that's what you know. I like playing the game because of the hits. You know what I mean? That's the fun part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to hate the person. You just gotta have that inside of you, and you just want to let it out. You know.
Yep.
So you get your anger out, and then
Yep.
it's all good. At the end of the game, you shake hands and, you know, grab a soda pop. But, yeah, what do you guys think about concussions? Have you had some?
I think we've
going
all.
forward?
Yeah, I think we've all
three
had
of
them.
us.
Yeah.
But I think we're very fortunate at UHS, and I know MHS having the trainers. I know some of the
Yeah, I
other.
know you guys have a lot of help through WVU as far as.
Yeah,
Exactly,
WVU and
yeah.
HealthWorks. They're very fortunate having them. And honestly, they're extremely strict. You can't joke or anything like that, or you're going to be sitting out 2 weeks. But have we played with headaches before? Yeah, it's part of football, and where we concussed, probably not.
There's a fine line
Yeah.
where you either can go or you can't, and you
Yeah.
have to know. Only you know if you can go or not.
Exactly.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Somebody can sit there and be calling you names because you're not going, but only you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really how far you want to take your body to the next level, I guess you would say. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And just keep talking a little bit about it, but it's scary.
Oh, yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah.
It is.
But I think as far as right now, the technology is as advanced as it's going to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything really much more than that. I doubt seeing it in the next 10 years anyways. I doubt. I mean, it's already pretty amazing the way it is. I think it's just going to be more of a targeting issue.
Yeah.
With concussions. Matt, talk a little bit about dings and dents.
Well, I mean, everyone, every football player's gonna get their bell rung every now and then, where it's good, maybe goes blurry for a second or so. You got a little pounding headache for a little bit, but goes get in the huddle, line up for the next play. It'll be gone after a while.
Grab a smelling salt.
Yeah,
You're good to go.
you know the routine. But it is a serious issue because there is that line where, you might have just gotten your bell rung, but then if you're right over that line and you take a hit the wrong way, it could be devastating. You see with guys like Junior Seau and that Kara George, the D lineman from Ohio State, guys like that, Mike Webster, where, over time that Kara George, he only played for, one season for football, and he never had a concussion wrestling. So, you see what 1 year did. But, with the proper form, you can practice the proper form all you want. You're gonna make helmet to helmet contact at some point. It's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
It really is. And they're talking about maybe getting rid of the 3-point stance in the next few years. But I mean,
I won't watch.
I
football
won't
ever
watch
again.
it. I just don't get how that could work.
I mean, I'll be like,
Yeah.
this is done.
To have an offensive line and defensive line across from each other, just squatting down, and then I just don't see the point
Zero
in that.
movement.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they might as well tie pillows to them.
Yeah. They might as well already.
But yeah, that's the way it's heading. But I mean, I think with the advances in technology and the gear, I mean, you saw when Wes Welker got his concussion, he had like a Goodyear blimp on his head, and that helmet, I mean, it was gigantic. So I mean,
they put the big cap on.
yeah.
It's so funny.
So I mean, you can do with that all you want, but it's always going to be an issue. It's just a matter of keeping it under control, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's not it. If the NFL is serious about it, they have to start at the Pop Warner level.
Yep.
If you want to be a coach, you have to be certified. Okay? You have to be certified in how to tackle, how to properly put on, gear. It's not something where you can tell somebody who's been playing his entire life a certain way, and then all of a sudden he's supposed to make a split-second reaction when you guys know that's impossible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right before a hit, when you go in, you're hitting, and that's all that's happening.
Yep.
You don't. There's no time to react if somebody ducks their head or, it's so quick you just can't. You know what I mean? You can put yourself in the best position possible, but other than that, it's you're not going to be able to do it. It's not plausible. But concussion's such a serious thing, and like I said, I think until the NFL really puts an emphasis on, or whatever, start at high school. You know what I mean? There has to be, these players have to be trained from a young age. Otherwise, it's it's like trying to break some of a bad habit after he's been doing it for 15 years is pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's with anybody in life. But I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. You guys have been so awesome. Thank you for all the questions and just putting yourself out there a little bit. I know we kind of winged it tonight, so yes, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys so much. Just to let everyone know, 6 to 7 on Wednesdays, live here at Schmitt Saloon and Davison Brothers Music Hall. Also, you can check out the show tonight from the garage basement of Schmitt Saloon on thedepost.com, and make sure to check it out. And I'd like to thank you guys again. The winningest
Thank you.
team in UHS history.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Well, right on. Good show.
Yeah, hey,